The WNBA's most fouled rookie in history was Caitlin Clark. She was targeted by seasoned gamers as if she had stolen something from them. She soon saw that her collegiate fame had little bearing on this situation. Their goal was to shatter her. However, she did something that startled everyone rather than breaking. She changed her body entirely. And the world was astounded by what they saw when they saw the results. They don't want you to know this terrible tale. She was born in Des Moines, Iowa, on January 22, 2002. Caitlin Elizabeth Clark was her name. Out of her 3 siblings, she was the middle child. Her entire personality would be shaped by her placement directly between an older brother and a younger sibling. Life had been a contest from the start. She was constantly struggling to keep up, win, or prove something at home in West Des Moines. Her parents, Brent and Ann, were unaware that the girl would change the course of sports history one day while bouncing a basketball around the home. Caitlin's father was a collegiate baseball and basketball player. Her granddad was a football coach. It was in the blood to do sports. Caitlin was more than simply an athlete, though winning was her obsession. She was able to dribble as if she had been doing it for years, even at the age of 5. Whether it was a board game or a school project made no difference. She was always trying to win. That fire never subsided and occasionally became unmanageable. During a fight, she once threw her brother against a wall. His head broke open. So many fights like that have to be broken up by their mother. Her skill set extended beyond basketball. Actually, basketball wasn't the primary focus at first. In just 6 high school soccer matches, she scored 26 goals. Her coach thought she could have played soccer in Division I. In addition, she played golf, softball, tennis, volleyball, and the piano. Basketball was more important than anything else, but Caitlin could have done anything. When she began, there was no girls' league for her age. Thus, her father placed her in a males' league. Just to be on the court, she had to struggle. It strengthened her. She had joined the Iowa Attack AAOU team in Ames by the 6th grade. Everything altered as a result. Even though she was only 13, she was already competing with older girls. She hit a step-back 3 and then threw a pass that went untouched, but precisely intended, according to one coach. After a victory, the majority of kids, according to the same coach, would go for ice cream. That didn't matter to Caitlin. All she wanted was to play harder and get more victories. That was the beginning of it all. She stunned everyone by the time she was a junior at Dowling Catholic High School. Caitlin scored 60 points in a single game on February 4, 2019. She made 13 three-pointers and scored 25 points in the first quarter alone. In Iowa's history, that was the highest. After that, even the opposing team's student section waited in line to sign autographs. She was the top scorer in the state at the end of her junior year. She repeated it the next year. She averaged 33.4 points, 4 assists, 8 rebounds, and almost 3 steals a game as a senior. She finished 4th, all-time in Iowa, with a career total of 2,547 points. In addition, she set a new record for the most three-pointers made. She scored 42 points in a triple overtime victory at the state tournament on February 25, 2019. That season, she guided Dowling Catholic to a 19-4 record. She received awards for Iowa Athlete of the Year, Gatorade Player of the Year, and Miss Iowa Basketball. By that time, her basketball career was already legendary. Then, November 25, 2020, arrived. The stands were almost deserted. The attention was drawn to Caitlin Clark, an 18-year-old student, despite Coach's efforts to keep the fans away. Something remarkable occurred that evening at Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa. Caitlin hit 58% from the field, scored 27 points, pulled down 8 rebounds, and contributed 4 assists. From the opening possession, she dominated the game. Despite it being her first game, she was already the best player on the court. There was also a statement from her defense. She demonstrated that she could stop plays as readily as she could create them with 3 steals. Years later, she would run for a national championship alongside her teammates from that evening, Gabby Marshall, Kate Martin, McKenna Warrow, and Monica. However, it was evident that night that Caitlin Clark was Iowa basketball's future. 4 weeks later, she took an even more unusual action. In a match against Western Illinois, on December 22nd, she achieved her first triple-double of the season. She gave out 10 assists, pulled down 13 rebounds, and scored 13 points. She only made 3 of 15 shots from the field on a poor shooting night. However, she made adjustments rather than giving up. She concentrated on creating play. A deft pass to Logan Cook inside the paint resulted in her last assist, which completed the triple-double. Since Samantha Logic last achieved a triple-double at Iowa in 2015, this type of performance had not been witnessed there. Coach Lisa Bluer was aware of the rarity of what she was witnessing. Triple-doubles are unique, she noted, and they don't happen very often. Nevertheless, Caitlin managed to pull it off during her first month of collegiate basketball. Caitlin's response to the question was even more remarkable than her statistics. I basically wanted to motivate others because I wasn't shooting the ball well. That mindset isn't typical among freshmen. That person is a leader. Then came February 11th. Caitlin entered Nebraska's home rink and took the single-game scoring record with her. She scored 39 points, pulled down 10 rebounds, and dished out 7 assists. She made 12 of her 18 shots from the field. From the free throw line, she was flawless. She completed everything. She attacked Nebraska from all sides. She had also surpassed 600 points for the season at the end of the game. That had only been accomplished by 4 other Iowa players in history. However, this was not a single sweltering evening. Even though Caitlin was just a freshman, she was already ahead of the entire country in scoring. That has never been done by anyone in Division I, male or female freshman. Prior to the game against Nebraska, her average was 29.8 points. She was the fire, not simply on fire. She had changed the record books by the end of the season. She scored 799 points overall in 30 games, 26.6 points per game. That is in a single season. No freshman had ever scored more, not only in Iowa, but across the nation. She scored more points than anyone else in Division I. She was second in assists per game and first in field goals, three-pointers, points per game, and overall points. She was making threes at an unprecedented pace, not just shooting them. In 30 games, she made 116 three-pointers, almost for every game. That is, no freshman had ever done that before. She scored at least 30 points in 12 games. It hadn't occurred since the year 2000. In addition, she finished with the third highest single-season point total in program history and broke Iowa's freshman scoring record. Megan Gustafson was the only one with a higher score, and it wasn't her first year's, but rather her last. Not only did she earn Freshman of the Year in the Big Ten, she ruled the circuit of honors. Throughout the season, she received 23 Big Ten awards. She received the Freshman of the Week award 13 times. She was the only freshman in history to win Player of the Week 5 times. It was no coincidence that she made the All-Big Ten first team. Coaches and the media unanimously selected her. She and Paige Bucker of UConn split the National Freshman of the Year honor. She became the first Hawkeye to win National Freshman of the Year in history. In Big Ten play, she averaged 27.7 points and 6.6 assists per contest. In 9 conference games, she scored 30 points or more. She also scored more than 20 in 8 more. Her performance not only garnered media attention but also helped Iowa regain its place in the national race. The team made it to the NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 and the Big Ten Tournament Final. They made their 3rd appearance in 4 years and their 8th overall in the Sweet 16. During her sophomore year in 2021, Caitlin Clark accomplished a feat never before accomplished by any player in Division I women's basketball. She was the top scorer and assister in the entire nation. In each game, she averaged 27 points, 8 assists, and 8 rebounds. Most athletes aren't even able to lead in one area. Clark simultaneously led in 2. It had never been balanced like that. It was expected of scorers to score. Passers were expected to make it through. However, Caitlin Clark disregarded such guidelines. She did everything. The number of points she earned wasn't the only thing that startled onlookers. It was the number of assists she received while performing it. Leading and scoring and dishing out 8 assists per game. That upended all preconceived notions about basketball roles. Defenders gave her their whole attention. It made no difference if there were 2 or 3 teams. As if it were nothing, she continued to thread impossible passes, find teammates wide open, and set them up. Her ability to pass was sometimes even more remarkable than her ability to score. She appeared to be playing with eyeballs in the back of her mind. She forced defenses to guess, and they were consistently incorrect. The pressure increased along with her stats. Other teams went physical because they realized they couldn't stop her with traditional defense. They pulled on her jersey, bumped her, and shelved her. A few attorneys went beyond what was even permitted. And her actions never let me down. Everything blew up by 2023. Since 1993, Iowa had not advanced to the Final Four. When Caitlin Clark put an end to a 30-year drought on March 26, that changed. She dominated rather than merely led. She finished the competition with 191 points. It's not a typo. 191. She averaged more, over 30 per game. It wasn't just her, either. Monica, McKenna-Warrow, and her teammates all stepped up. Everyone was at their best because of Clark. She wasn't finished yet when she advanced to the Final Four. In the Elite Eight, she scored a triple-double of 41 points against Louisville, 10 rebounds, 12 assists, and 41 points. In the history of the NCAA, neither the men's nor women's teams had ever done it. Her 11th triple-double was that one. However, this one felt unique. She made deep threes. She navigated throngs of people. Like a magician, she got by. She gave the impression that it was simple. She managed to dominate even when triple-teamed, the statistic that stood out. Of Iowa's 97 points, she either scored or assisted on 70 of them. Then came the 36 duration, unbeaten reigning champions, South Carolina. Nobody thought they would lose. However, Clark once more stunned the world on March 31st. 6 rebounds, 8 assists, and 41 more points. In the fourth quarter, she either scored or assisted on every single point. The entire season was turned upside down by the game. For 42 games, South Carolina had not lost. Then Clark showed up. Her confidence, her crisp cuts, and her trademark threes. Even the nation's top defense was left reeling. Caitlin Clark was only one game away from realizing all of her childhood dreams on April 2, 2023. The ultimate prize is the national championship. But heartbreak marred what ought to have been the high point of her illustrious collegiate career. LSU defeated Iowa 102-85. Although it appeared that LSU would win easily on paper, the reality was far more difficult to swallow. To get her team there, Clark had endured everything. She had just days earlier led Iowa to the championship game with consecutive 41-point performances. She broke a championship record set in 1990 with 8 three-pointers in that final game. Even if she scored 30 points, it was insufficient. Her expression said it all, as the buzzer sounded. Despite her best efforts, she was unable to realize her ambition. Her senior year followed. Anyone who believed that she would be slowed down by the loss was mistaken. Everything changed the night of February 15, 2024, when Iowa played Michigan. Clark just needed 8 points to surpass Kelsey Plum's 3,527-point NCAA scoring record. She made a deep three from the logo 2 minutes into the game. The audience erupted. She became the top scorer in NCAA women's history with that shot. She didn't stop there, though. She let up 49 points, the most Iowa had ever allowed in a game. She also contributed 5 rebounds and 13 assists. In her 126th game, faster than Plum's 139, she accomplished everything. She scored 3,569 points overall that evening. She had become legendary. She wasn't done, though. Clark attempted to break a 54-year record against Ohio State on March 3, 2024, in a crowded arena. Pete Marovic has the highest point total in Division I history, 3,667. To pass him, Clark needed 17 more.